A map engine is a totally different rendering engine that the platform it runs on, and so it's not compatible with Flutter widget. And that's not an issue that is only on Flutter, but it's also the case on React Native and even on native application, whether you're using Google Map or Mapbox or Maplib. But all the map SDK shares the same features, markers, polyline, polygon, and circles, so we'll have to work with that. And just so you know, this is a very known issue. I think it's like the 10 most liked issue of all time on the Flutter repo, the fact that we can't use widget as a marker. But I have an idea to solve this problem. Each map SDK exposes a controller, and on this controller there is a method getScreenCoordinate, which takes lat long as an argument and give us back screen coordinates in X and Y. So with a stack, I can place the map engine and place Flutter widget on this stack and use the controller to synchronize all the position. Let's look at the result. Sorry. So here is Google Map with a Flutter logo on top of the city cube. And when I move the map, I don't know if you can see it with the video, but there is some lag between the marker position and the background of the map. And that's because the map engine does not emit event of its camera position frequently enough. That's not good for a production-ready application, so we'll have to find another solution. Luckily, when we look at Google Map API, we see that the marker can accept images to display with bitmap descriptor from byte. So if I just export from Figma all the markers that I need and place them in my app folder asset, I can load them with root bundle, get the byte from it, and display it with usual Google Map marker. And the result is honestly pretty good. The performance is good also. And yeah, that's it. We can move on to the next map feature we have to build. But the product team came to us and they have a new requirement. We need to display the prices of gas station and of hotel directly within the marker. That means I can no longer export every possible marker from Figma and add them to my asset. I have to find a runtime solution. For that, little spoiler, but we will do screenshots. I think everyone in this room already did some screenshot of a Flutter widget. Usually you do that with Golden Test. But how does it work? For that, we'll have to go into the render object world, but don't be scared. We will use one that you already know. You probably used it when you want to optimize repaint phases within a stack. It's the render repaint boundary, because it exposed to us a method to image that will convert any widget into an image, and then we can get the byte data and add it to Google Map. But the problem is that all the markers we want to put on the map, they are not in our widget tree. Actually, we want a separate widget tree, and the main one is doing some pretty heavy stuff within the run app function. So we'll have to look at two objects, build owner and pipeline owner. The build owner is the object that is responsible for managing widget within the tree, for example, reassemble and rebuild. And the pipeline owner is composed of 4 phases. First, we have flush layout for position and size of every element. Then flush composing bits, which handle visual effects like clipping. Then flush paint, which command every render object their paint method. And flush semantics for accessibility, but we don't need that for screenshots. Honestly, this was low level and you don't need to do that. There is a package screenshot. It works really well, so just use that instead. So let's look at the results of this technique. As you can see, we display markers on the map, and each gas station has a different price. The position is well synchronized. There is no problem of performance, and each time I do another request to the server, every marker is regenerated. There is new screenshots, and there is no lag. This is pretty performant. So at this point, we are pretty proud of ourselves, the engineering team, but maybe you guessed it, the product came to us again with a new requirement. This time, we have to display images of touristic areas directly on the map, and all the images are coming from the server. This was scary because if you ever did golden test or screenshot, you know that images are not consistently rendered. And that's expected because Flutter won't wait for a 10 megabytes image from network to load before rendering a frame. So we have to find a solution, and it's inspired by test packages like Golden Toolkit from eBay or Adaptive Test. We will use a pre-cache image, which takes as an argument an image provider and place the image data within the cache. And then all the widgets like images or box decoration can load faster by getting those data directly from the cache. The tricky part is to find the right element with the right image provider. And for that, we will need an element tree visitor. Honestly, within the app, we just copy-paste some code from Flutter test inside the function find, like a find by type. So an element tree visitor is an object that will go through every element in the element tree and return a list. So once we have the whole list of elements, we can filter on images, get the associated widget, then get the image provider, and then pre-cache it with the pre-cache function. One last trick for performance, don't use Octo image or networked image directly into your side widget tree, but instead what you can do is prefetch all the image data from the URL, put it in a device cache, for example with Flutter Cache Manager, and then display image from memory with the byte that you just get before. And after that, the element tree visitor will be able to find the image and pre-cache all the data into the right cache. So let's final look at the results. So I computed an itinerary between Paris and Berlin, but honestly, it's an hypothetical itinerary because in Paris, no one owns a car. So yeah, there are images from the network displayed on the map, and there is no lag, and again, that works pretty well. So with those techniques, we could display a lot of different features on top of the map, like different prices of an itinerary, and a lot of different markers. So actually, I'm glad that the product team pushes us to learn new things and find new technique to manipulate a map. But honestly, here, who is disappointed by the screenshot technique? Because I am. For the screenshot technique, we must use static widget, which means that we cannot use animation or we cannot use dynamic effect like blur background over the map. So let's take a look at the future and what maybe we can do later. Remember when I talked about the 4 most used SDK engine for map on Flutter ecosystem? Well, the first one is FlutterMap. Maybe you know it, but FlutterMap is a map engine totally written in Dart. It has a rich plugin ecosystem. There is no native weird bug like Java null pointer exception. And you can place any widget as a marker. The problem is that FlutterMap is only able to display raster images for tiles. Luckily, there is a plugin, Vector Map Tiles, that can do that, but there are real performance issues, and right now it's not ready for production. But the performance issue on GitHub is really interesting places. There are a lot of brilliant developers that are discussing many solutions to solve this problem. If you scan the QR code, you can subscribe to this issue and you will see that a lot of cool stuff is happening here. But the 3 main ways to solve this problem are first, doing async rasterization of the vector data in a separate thread. This is complicated, and right now there is a Flutter limitation, but past this limitation, this could be a solution. Currently, the vector tile package is using custom painter and path object, and maybe with the usage of lower level APIs like draw vertices, we could solve all the performance issues. And finally, the Flutter team is working on a new API called Flutter GPU, which will expose GPU API directly to the Flutter environment. And it's not ready yet, but maybe with that, we can start to build some map engine directly with Flutter. Thank you very much. Use this QR code if you have any feedback on the presentation. And if you have any question, here is the mic.